Hey everyone, this is Drew Newworth of the Game Business and Esports program. This is some footage of my short film, Swing the Bat. It's a story about self-reflection and rediscovering your purpose, told through a surreal conversation between two versions of the same character, the past and future self. The film explores what would normally be a quiet moment to oneself through the lens of one's internal dialogue. It will be dubbed over by myself and another version of myself, and narrated in such a way that it explores the idea of stepping up to the plate in life. It kind of means like swing the bat even when you're scared, even when you're gonna miss, or rather, even if you miss. The story was inspired by my own personal struggles with self-doubt, the lessons that I have to keep learning, that being to find the courage to keep moving forward, even when life gets overwhelming. And I wanted to bring this story to life not only because I think it's something we can all relate to, but an internal dialogue is much easier to record than a dialogue with somebody else who I have to rely on their schedule. Pre-production was an interesting process. Writing the script didn't actually help me clarify the emotional beats I wanted to hit, and storyboarding was even more challenging, but it forced me to think kind of visually, at least. Scouting locations was fun, but I ended up choosing my own apartment as the place to film because of restraints due to the weather and my own personal sickness at the time. The most challenging part to start was keeping the script concise and keeping my ideas at bay, because this is a short film where good enough is good enough. So I actually had to cut down a lot of my ideas and a lot of my visual flair that I wanted to add, because frankly I don't have the skills to execute on them. Fitting into the 2 to 4 minute time frame was kind of tough, but it kind of made the final script a little bit more tight and impactful, I hope. Originally, I thought the story would lean more heavily on visuals, but as I wrote and as I filmed, I realized the dialogue between the two characters was the heart of the film, and I couldn't execute on it. Filming was a bit chaotic and a bit lonely, but I think rewarding. I ended up filming during the rain, which would have normally stopped filming, but it actually changed my vision a little bit for the story. I used my smartphone and it worked surprisingly well. I think it worked well in our sequences during the class as well. One of the biggest surprises was how much I had to adjust. In the end, I really had to improvise. The wind kept knocking the hammock in some of these shots into me, and it was splashing water everywhere, and I didn't have a tripod, so I used a lap board and a block of cheese as my tripod, and that somehow worked. But I think the most rewarding moment was sort of actually getting to have a quiet moment to myself. Even though I was filming myself, I got some more ideas for the script through actually going through sort of this retrospective moment, acting it out on film. I think along with the sequences that we did during class, my framing and some of my editing skills have improved during this project, but mostly my outlook on what is good enough, basically my ideas of what happens in my head versus what needs to happen on film, and what's actually shootable with what I have. My outlook has improved and some of my skills have increased as well, but I'm really proud of what I did with the tech that I had on hand. I'm proud that I managed to get some close-up shots despite not having a tripod. Using my own hand cam, I think getting a close-up of the baseball cap was important, and it really added a lot to the scene. One creative choice I'm proud of is how I used the shots to reflect the characters' emotions. I really just filmed enough that the editing process and the dubbing over process informed what I used from the shots, and it wasn't all planned out in advance. My main takeaways from this project: one, obviously the importance of planning. I struggled a lot more with this than I thought I would, mostly because I was sick, but also because my process of planning is very perfectionist. I don't like drafts. I don't like just shooting to shoot. I want it to be perfect and I want to shoot it right the first time. So having a storyboard and a shot list, while it helped guide me, my plans changed so much that I really, didn't get to do everything perfectly, and I realized that's okay. And it taught me that filmmaking is as much about adapting as it is planning. To be honest, that's just my opinion though. I feel confident tackling a project like this again in the future, especially when I'm not held back by time and sickness. So yeah. In the end, I want to thank my roommate for getting me in the right mindset to finish this project. He's a film student, so he knows a little bit more about the process than I do, and he has a little bit more experience than I do, especially since it's not really my area of expertise. And I especially want to thank my friends for helping me mentally through this, because I was getting pretty overwhelmed by the end, and their support really helped, as well as my teacher for giving me my second chances and plenty of guidance to get this done. So yeah, I think last talking note, funny moment of this whole thing, every single shot that I made was the second take because I was coughing so much. So if I really wanted to, I could make a cut of this film that has a lot more coughing. So yeah, to anyone, I guess, thinking about making film themselves, I think give yourself time, and if you don't have time, allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to change your ideas as you go. I learned a lot along the way, and thank you very much.